Have you ever felt like you weren't strong enough to do something? Or maybe you didn't have enough money or the right kind of experience. Well, if you have, don't worry, because God doesn't need big numbers or strong armies or powerful people to help him. In today's story, we'll see how even a small group of regular people can do extraordinary things when they work together with God. Now let's get into the exciting story of Gideon and his 300 soldiers. Long ago, the Israelites lived in the land God had promised to their ancestors. They should have been happy and thankful to God for his blessings. But guess what? Once again, they forgot about God. Yep, you heard it right. They stopped praying and began to worship idols like the gods of Chemosh and Ashtaroth. You know, those idols couldn't help them, but the Israelites kept following them anyway. Because of this, God got really upset and allowed their enemies, the Midianites, to make their lives difficult. Oh, those Midianites were mean. Every time the Israelites planted their crops, the Midianites would come with their camels and soldiers. They would steal all the food and leave nothing for the Israelites. Can you imagine how hungry and angry that made the Israelites? The poor people even had to hide in caves to stay safe. One day, a man named Gideon was secretly working in a wine press, trying to save some wheat. He was hiding from the Midianites because they would have stolen it if they saw him. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared in front of him. "Hey, Gideon," said the angel, "you are a mighty warrior of God." Wait, what? Gideon was totally confused. He asked, "What? Me? No way. I am the weakest in my family, and my family is the least in Israel. How could I possibly save anyone?" The angel shook his head and replied, "Go in the strength you have. God will be with you." Still, Gideon wasn't so sure about all this. He needed a sign from God to believe. So he said, "Okay, God, if you want me to do this, show me a sign." Then Gideon went inside to get some food ready for the angel. When he came back, the angel touched the food with his staff and whoosh, fire shot out and burned it all up. Wow! Gideon realized that it was truly God speaking to him through the angel. But Gideon wanted to be extra sure, so he asked for another sign. That night, he prayed, "God, if you're going to save Israel through me, let the fleece of wool on the ground be wet with dew, but keep the ground all around dry." The next morning, when Gideon went out, guess what he saw? The fleece was wet with dew, but the ground around it was bone dry. Just as God had promised, but still, Gideon wasn't completely convinced. He wasn't sure if this was really from God. So that night he prayed again, "God, now let the fleece stay dry and let the ground be wet this time." And that night it happened exactly like he had asked. The ground was wet and the fleece was dry. Now, after this, Gideon knew without a doubt that God was with him and he was ready to save Israel from the Midianites. Then Gideon called all the Israelites to gather together. He raised a huge army of 32,000 men who were brave and eager to fight. But wait, God wasn't impressed by this huge army. He told Gideon, "That's far too many soldiers. If you win, you might think it's because of your own strength and numbers. But remember, it's me who will save Israel. I want everyone to know that I am powerful, not you." So Gideon had to tell his soldiers, "If anyone is afraid, trembling, and weak, let them go home." After that, 22,000 soldiers left, and only 10,000 stayed behind. Then God spoke again and said, "You still have too many soldiers. I want to see who among them are truly willing to help me." So Gideon led his 10,000 soldiers to the water to drink. Some of them knelt down and dipped their hands in the water and drank. Others scooped up water in their hands and lapped it like dogs. Have you ever seen someone drinking water from their hands like a dog? I bet it doesn't look very cool, but sometimes when we're thirsty, we'll do anything to get water, right? Anyway, God told Gideon, "Only the ones who lapped the water like a dog are the ones I want. They're the ones who will go with me to fight." So Gideon sent the rest of the soldiers home and kept just 300. Imagine being one of those soldiers. You join the army to help your people, but then 99% of the soldiers are sent home. What would you feel? Maybe a little disappointed, maybe a bit sad. But hey, if God chose you, you should be super excited and honored, right? Now, Gideon's small army was ready to face the Midianites, and God told him to go down to the enemy camp to spy on them. While Gideon was listening to the enemy's plans, he heard a Midianite soldier telling a friend about a dream he had. "I dreamed that a loaf of bread came rolling into our camp and knocked over our tent." His friend replied, "That must mean Gideon will attack us and defeat us." Yikes! This gave Gideon even more courage to fight the Midianites. Then, when Gideon returned to his men, he gave each soldier a trumpet and a torch hidden inside a jar. At night, he led his 300 soldiers to surround the Midianite camp. Everything was dark and silent. Suddenly, Gideon shouted, "Attack!" His men blew their trumpets, smashed the jars, and waved their torches high. They yelled, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The Midianites were terrified. They thought they were surrounded by a huge army. They panicked, ran away, and even started fighting with each other. It was total chaos, and here's the amazing part. God gave Gideon and his 300 soldiers a big win. They defeated the Midianites and freed the Israelites from their oppression. So, what can we learn from Gideon and his 300 soldiers? First, it's that we shouldn't forget about God. The Israelites forgot about God, so he let other nations bother them. But when they remembered God and asked for help, he didn't ignore them. Second, God doesn't need big armies to win. He doesn't care if we read the weakest or do and have much experience or the right stuff. He just needs people who trust and obey him. And lastly, when God is with us, even the smallest group of people can do amazing things. We don't have to be the strongest or the biggest. All we need is faith in God and to follow his plan. Well, that's all for today's story. Remember, no matter how small or weak you feel, if God is with you, you are strong and capable of doing great things. If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any of our exciting Bible stories. Until next time, may God bless you and fill you with his love. Take care and goodbye.